Yeah, now it's recording.
Okay.
Okay, are you going to say hello first or am I?
I'll say hello first.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Afshan.
And I'm Greg.
Yeah, so you can keep talking.
Well, my hair looks worse than yours does.
Oh, well.
Anyway, it's just Sunday morning, but we can't stand Twitter anymore. So we decided to start our new podcast, the $6 Million Podcast, because there is nobody out there. It's so frustrating listening to even our, whoever your left-wing hero is, Katie Halper or Matt Taibbi or Kyle Kalinske or Crystal Ball, whoever you listen to, they all buy into this idea that Biden is a better selection than Trump. And nobody is saying that he's an establishment candidate. He won because he's the establishment candidate. He's the one that Wall Street wants to win. The one that Wall Street wants to win won the election, and everyone's acting like they're excited about that. It's really crazy.
Yes, I agree. Well, no, yeah, I also want to say that, it's just completely insane that...
Can I say...
What?
Can we look at this hair?
I know, I have to do something about it. Yeah, I know.
Well, can you put it behind your ear or something?
Well, maybe I'll just, put it all down.
That's better.
That might be better, yeah.
So there's going to be a cut, and now your hair's down.
Yeah, so whatever.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyways, yeah, I just want to, reiterate what Greg said, and that, on Twitter now, people are just so happy and saying, oh, now things are going to get done. Now he's going to do something. You know he's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. He said before the election that he's not president yet, so he can't do anything. Well, that shouldn't have stopped him from trying to get a task force, trying to do something. He's not going to do anything for COVID. What is he going to say? He's going to say, oh, everyone should wear masks, or let's listen to the scientists. He's not going to say anything. He's not going to do anything. He's an establishment Democrat. That's what he's done his whole career. He's basically a Republican. So there you go.
That's what I want to say. And something I noticed this morning. So first of all, he announced yesterday not his plan to help COVID. We've been dealing with COVID for 8 months now. He still doesn't know what has to be done. Yeah. So what's he going to do? He's going to form a task force. It occurred to me this morning. Do you know what he did after Sandy Hook? He led a task force.
Yeah.
And what did we do about gun control after his task force? Nothing. How many millions of Americans are going to die while he's doing his task force? How could he? But what really struck me today is that I think we might be in for the worst time in American history, because I don't think he has never been a leader one day in his life. And I think that the idea that he waited until he won the election to have a meeting about what to do about COVID blows me away. Why couldn't he have had a meeting anytime and been ready with a plan?
Yeah.
Why did he have to wait even until he got elected to give us his plan? Why didn't he give Trump his plan? Yeah. It's totally insane.
Because if you actually, it's so obvious that shows how little he actually cares about the American people. Yeah. He can say, oh, we care about COVID, but what are you actually doing? If you wait till you get in office, that's end of January.
Yeah. And
what are you going to do until then? There's almost 150,000 people getting COVID every day now. What are you doing about that?
And I actually think that what I'm thinking about today, and I noticed this, the first time I noticed this was at the first debate. You need to say wrong whenever you want. We loved Trump's performance in the first debate. I don't know. That's another example of why we've got to have this podcast, because everyone was saying what a train wreck it was. Trump was amazing in that debate. Anyway, the thing that struck me the most about what Biden said in that debate is that someone said, well, what are you doing about COVID? And he said, well, I'm not president yet. What kind of a
Wrong.
what kind of a weak-assed mind. This guy is not a leader. I think that we're going to be shocked by how weak he is. There's another thing also that I noticed on Twitter today. There have been pictures of different pictures of Biden and what he's going to do and different things. every one of them is a picture of Biden and Kamala together. When have you ever seen that before? When Obama won, there were no pictures of Biden. It wasn't like, oh, look at the new team coming in. It was all about Obama and his family. And with Trump, obviously, Bush, obviously. And that's about as far back as I remember. I don't remember what it was like with Clinton. But there's something so strange going on here, how they're pushing Kamala on us now. Although that's sort of getting off topic from the real point here.
Yeah.
Which is that what do these progressives think is going to happen now? That's the thing that drives us crazy.
Well, yeah, and all this stuff about, like, there was someone had tweeted about we should have a labor march. What the fuck is a labor march going to do? Oh, maybe I can't swear. But what is a labor march going to do now? So you already voted for him. You said, yeah, we don't care what your policies are. We just want Trump out, so we'll vote for you.
Yeah. And
so now you're gonna march in the street. Now Joe Biden's gonna be like, oh yeah, we should do something. Wasn't there like the largest protest in history with the Black Lives Matter movement after all these police shootings? And Biden, what did he say when he came out? He said, "Oh, we shouldn't defund the police, and shouldn't be any violence in the streets, and no violent protests."
Right, a completely right-wing reaction. To the protests.
Yes, exactly. So I think your labor march is really going to work really well. I think it's going to do a lot of good.
And I was also thinking,
you're going to sway him.
What is the purpose of having a protest or a march, having 1 million people show up in Washington? What's the purpose of that? It's to send the politicians the message that there are a lot of us and you must listen to us. Or what? You must listen to us or we won't vote for you. You can't be president anymore if you don't listen to us. That literally means nothing. Mm-hmm. You just got through telling Biden that you're going to vote for him no matter what. Mm-hmm. So you have no power now.
Yeah. Yeah, and the funny thing is, it's like I was talking to someone during the primary, and he said, "Oh, but how can I, like, if I vote, even if I want to vote for Bernie, but if I know other people aren't, then what can I do? Or why should I vote for what I want when I know other people won't, or something?" And I thought, but that's the easiest thing you can do is vote. That is the power that we have, is to vote. If we all got together and said, we're not voting for Biden, we're not voting him in, then they would have to do something. So, but we gave them all the power, so, I mean, a march doesn't do anything. Voting does something.
Yeah, and then the idea that now everyone's focused on whether we're going to get 50 votes for the Senate.
They're all
What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
It's so dumb. If there's any changes to the ACA, it's going to be somehow to give insurance companies more money and more power.
Yeah.
So the only legitimate, honestly, if you are expressing the slightest joy that the Wall Street candidate won the election, you've got to shut up. You can be upset about it that the country just elected the Wall Street candidate, the one that they want to be president. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't, it's so funny when you try to think of ways that Trump is different from Biden. I just stumbled because I can never remember what they are. I was going to say, oh, well, okay, maybe he doesn't lie as much. No one lies more than Biden. Racist? No one's more racist than Biden. Obviously rapey? No one's more rapey than Biden. Mm-hmm. So what is it that's different between Biden and Trump? I don't know. And then the other thing that we're going to talk about in this podcast is that try to articulate a reason why Biden should be president that does not refer to Trump's rhetoric. Mm-hmm. The most conservative, I love the word normie, the most conservative normie thing you can do is to complain that the reason we've got to get rid of Trump is because he's not following norms. He doesn't have any decorum or respect for the people in the Senate. Yeah, because he's anti-establishment.
Yeah.
He's a terrible person, but that doesn't make him worse than Biden.
Yeah.
There's a reason that the establishment wants Biden. It's because he's going to be easier to work with.
Yeah.
Trump gives them a hard time. Trump does what they want, but he's always giving them a hard time.
And weren't they saying the same thing about Bernie in the primaries? They're saying he's so yelly, and he just yells, and he like raises his voice,
yes,
and
of
then
course.
he moves his hands all over and everything. Same exact thing.
Yeah.
You could have the same words and just replace Trump with Bernie, and it's the same thing. So he wasn't going to be like, well, at that time it seemed like he wasn't going to be easy to work with. Now he's become establishment, I guess.
So you're supporting Biden for the exact reason that they attacked Bernie.
Yep.
And that doesn't tell you something?
Yeah.
So, okay. How long is this supposed to go on?
I don't know, but I think we're done for now.
Yeah, okay. So this might be a short podcast, or maybe just today. We think that in the future we might watch some Crystal Ball and comment on it as it's going, or some Twitter or whatever. But just, we've been on Twitter this morning, and it's just so infuriating listening. So Kyle Kulinski right now is making fun of Republicans for doubting the results of the election. It's so dumb. Where was he on Super Tuesday when the primaries just completely blew up in this bizarre way? He's not at all suspicious about that.
Mm-hmm.
Now Wall Street ends up with the candidate that they want to be president, and you're making fun of someone being skeptical about that? There's a division in this country between establishment and anti-establishment. Establishment means conservative. It has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. If you're supporting the establishment candidate, you are doing what the establishment wants you to do. Yep. If you're complaining about Trump's rhetoric, you're doing what the establishment wants you to do. You're trying to conserve the status quo. And I lost my train of thought.
Well, it was a good train it went on pretty long, so that's good.
Okay, so anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, I think, well, the main thing is that we are anti-establishment, and we need a way to bridge, bring together all anti-establishment people. Because the other thing we want to talk about is this whole idea of, how harmful identity politics is, and just how harmful it is to the actual concerns of real American people and working people of this country. So that's the other thing, that, if you focus too much on identity politics, then you are isolating a large group, so much of the population. And the other thing, which I didn't really say much about the identity politics, but I also want to say that I'm so tired and sick of people bashing on voters.
Yeah.
Everyone votes for what they think is right, or what they think is best for them. So to actually to bash, I mean, weren't people making fun of Hillary for calling Trump supporters deplorables? So you're doing the same thing. A Trump voter is not, first of all, they're not all racist, and we'll talk about all of that too, but someone who's voting for Trump is voting for Trump because he's anti-establishment, not because, and they think he is going to help them in some way. Biden never said anything about helping anyone.
Yeah.
So if you voted for Biden, you've been duped worse than if you voted for Trump.
You just voted for Joe Biden, and you have the gall to make fun of someone who didn't.
Yeah.
What? So, yes, and I want to say that this is why it's going to be interesting to see how this podcast is received, because our main sort of focus is to end. You've got to get outside of the establishment narrative. The reason you voted for Biden is they conned you yet again into believing that there's this guy who's going to destroy. They literally have you claiming that Trump is going to destroy the country. Mm-hmm. So you've got to vote for. How easy is it to get you to vote for who they want you to vote for if you believe that your life is in danger? Yep. If you don't.
Yep. Has
your life changed in the last 4 years? And don't say COVID. COVID has nothing to do with Trump.
Yeah.
We've already seen what there would be so many more task forces right now as 100,000 people get the virus every day if Biden had been president. Mm-hmm. But very few people are going to like what we're saying here because, and that's exactly what we want. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say was that Republican voters are anti-establishment. They are our allies. They're sorry, our cat's walking around. They're overtly racist, but I've actually had someone on Twitter say to me that they would not ally with a racist in order to pass universal health care. Well, then we've lost. Then that's it. Nothing else matters.
That's the most
They've already won. Yeah. So okay, then we're done. If you can't even these are the guys that want Biden to win because he's going to heal the country. Biden has never said anything to heal the country. Yeah. All he's done is criticize the right. That's all anyone's doing is criticizing the right. Yeah. They want better lives. They want healthcare. They want good jobs. They want the same things that we do, and they're just going about it in the wrong way. We have to embrace them and embrace them in the things that we all share, which is economic justice.
Yep.
And a lot of Republicans, by the way, are also socially libertarian, which is what most of us are.
Yep.
Leave us alone.
Yep.
Let us be what we want.
Yeah,
that is a progressive message.
Yeah.
That's Republicans.
Yeah. Like, don't make fun of someone who goes to church or does whatever. I mean, those ideas, I mean, it is like the best thing is to be socially libertarian. Yeah, do whatever you want and leave me alone. Like, I'll do what I want, you do what you want. But we all want universal health care. We all want a living wage. We all want to be able to live a good life.
Yeah.
There's nothing more. I mean, after that, does it really matter? And even, I just want to say something about the racism also. Is like that you say that like people will say that, oh, these Trump supporters are racist. It's really troublesome because I think a lot of racism is just people's lives are terrible.
Yeah.
So you need someone to blame.
Right. That's what it is. I was just going to say the same thing.
If you had a good life, why would you? Are you going to really care about your neighbor or think that some black person is trying to take your job or I don't know, like, or someone's on welfare or something or some, like some immigrant is taking your job or something? I mean, it doesn't. I think inherently people are not racist. It's just they need someone to blame because their life is terrible. So,
I think that so much of the Republican racism would just disappear in a puff of smoke if we gave them all good jobs and health care and made them feel heard and made them feel listened to.
Yeah.
The reason that Democratic progressives are so frustrated is that they don't feel heard. They feel that the establishment doesn't take care of them. That is exactly how Republicans feel.
Yeah.
And as long as we're blaming each other, nothing's going to get done. The moment we quit blaming each other, the whole thing ends and we'll all be happier.
Yep.
It looks like my disc is almost full, so we should stop for now.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I think that's pretty good.
Are you still recording?